Scooby-Doo-Doo-Doo-Doo. Did I not record any of that? Laugh. Sup guys, I'm Tyler, and together with Ryan, we are GTA Films. Just a couple of guys trying to make stuff for a living. Which right now is the other videos on this channel, as well as the sick Twitch stream that Ryan does, link for which is in the description. Speaking of the stream, please ignore all the other noises going around. This is actually being filmed on a Tuesday instead of a Monday normally, so the stream is in full swing, which I think you can see it. Yeah, I got it pulled up there, which is kind of a good segue. We're doing something a little different with this one. Am I super bright? I can't tell. Maybe I just have a shiny head. I did just shave all my hair off. And my beard. I don't have a beard anymore. Anyway, we filmed about a couple of these so far. I've now edited one. And if I'm being honest with you, I kind of hate it. So this one, we're going to try to do something with a little more direction to it. And instead of just talk about what all various things that we're going to do that week, we're only going to talk about one thing. The Alien Isolation stream event we're throwing, which is really exciting. It's been a couple months in the making. For some reason, Ryan, who absolutely hates scary games, I mean, it's in his like Twitch bio, but he decided to just do like a channel point drive, I guess you'd call it, towards this like huge goal of making him play a scary game. So he's gonna play Alien Isolation, and he's not looking forward to it, but I am. But since, you know, this is so long in the making and we can't do anything simply, we're gonna turn it into like a whole weekend long stream like event where we're gonna actually physically isolate him in another room of the house, cut him off from chat and all the normal things that could, you know, potentially bring him comfort. And I'm gonna run chat, and then we're gonna set up a bunch of unique temporary things you can buy with either channel points or bits or something like that, where we're gonna have like lighting cues that we can change the lighting on him, scary sounds played over the surround sound of the room he's in, stuff where I can like whisper things in his ears or whatever else. But anyway, we're gonna slowly put those together over the course of the next couple weeks and get that underway, and should be pretty cool. So I guess this is the intro for that. Yeah, unlike the normal board meeting things, this part's not just gonna be filmed in one day, because we've got a pretty decent list of things we're gonna do for it, but I'm sure things will come up in the meantime, so I'm just gonna kind of pop in and fill y'all in as we go. What's up? Happy Tuesday. It has been a week, possibly to the hour. So yeah, I know I said that I was gonna be popping in throughout the week to fill y'all in on what we were doing, what we kind of were figuring out we needed to do as we were doing it. But then my sinuses intervened. I was down for a couple days. My face swelled up, swole up, swelled, doesn't matter. It got all softball looking. So yeah, I was definitely not doing this. I wasn't doing much of anything there for a few days. So anyway, I'm here on the Tuesday. We're 3 days out from the Alien event, and I figured I'd just fill you in on what we've done and what we're gonna do. A couple things you might notice. That first off, this shot looks a lot different than it did the last time. I kind of briefly looked at the footage from the last one, and I kind of felt like it was a little too wide, but then I switched lenses to this one, and now this one kind of seems like it's not wide enough, a little narrow. I don't know. So I guess like I'll throw them up side by side. If anybody out there has like a preference of one to the other, I guess leave a comment for us. Let us know what you think. This whole series is going to be a work in progress, just a constant work in progress. So why not progress it together, huh? So yeah, what have we been up to? I went about, I think I ended up with like 20 sound bites that I then cut down to 18. All right, so I don't really know if I'm allowed to do this, but because we're trying to find sound effects, right? And I went trying to look through like royalty-free stuff, and it just wasn't really working for me. So I figure if the makers of Alien Isolation, if they're letting him play it on stream, then obviously you can hear it on stream. Then I figure if I just rip sound effects from the game to use in the soundboard, surely that's not gonna be a problem, right? At the very least, it's not gonna get flagged. So I'm gonna go through, I know you can download YouTube videos, but I prefer not to. So I'm gonna do the old OBS trick again, and I'm gonna pull up gameplay footage of the game and find spooky sounds, and then I'm gonna record them in little bits on OBS. Turn all the videos into MP3s, and I'll then use those for the soundboard. Okay, also my dumbass just figured out, I'm sure you noticed in the last board meeting, which is already aired at this point, that my cursor wasn't showing up. It's because, in case anybody didn't know, when you're using OBS, you have to click this box, Capture Cursor, which I hadn't done yet. Noxious. Okay, so yeah, next morning. So I know Adobe Media Encoder is good for like trying to export a bunch from Premiere. You can like add it to the queue or whatever, and it pops up in Adobe Encoder. So like, I guess it's just basically an exporter, right? But I've now figured out, I just opened this directly. So I did one test guy, but let me run through these. So here's all my screen captures from yesterday with all the sounds. So I'm gonna set all these guys and all these guys. Hard to do one-handed. Alright, so here's all my things, and just change that to MP3, and then these things should be going to, so I made an audio folder that I'm guessing I'm gonna have to move all these real quick. I'm sure there's probably like an intelligent way to do this to all of them, so you don't have to go through one at a time, but this is kind of my first real use of encoder on its own. So I don't know how to do this, but if anybody out there knows, you could let me know. So yeah, so we got them all going to the right folder, taking these MP4 files, gonna export it as an MP3, and play. Boom, 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 boom. And now, look at all of them. Aha! How fun. Alright, so I'm throwing all the tracks here into this audition thing, and I just want to share this real quick before I started editing them one at a time. I figured I'd just play through before I started messing with it, just because, you know, I was curious. And we ended up with this batch of nightmares. How awesome is that, huh? So here's all my audio tracks. So I've gone through here and I soloed each track, cut it down to whatever parts I needed. So I did that, and then I went through and boosted the gain on each of these clips like a ton, to the point where, I mean, pretty much all of them peak way past the point of distortion. I mean, look at this. This might be loud. That's something you never really want to do, but it's cool because remember, the purpose of this is to scare them, so it's really volume over anything. Speaking of which, I want to go ahead and make a claim now, guarantee you that this is going to be easily the most popular of the sound bits. Right? So yeah, I'm gonna start exporting these, and then those will all be ready to go. Alright, so I've got the soundboard. It's not set up, but it's at least filled noises, and I think it's gonna be pretty good, because let me just test this. What are you doing here? He's gonna be sitting about here. I don't know how well this microphone's gonna pick it up, but let's go this guy. It's gonna be turned up much louder, so I think this is gonna work really well. I'm really getting excited for it. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. I'll turn towards the door to see if it'll pick up on the mic, but and that's just from the sound system. So yeah, did the sound bites and everything. Also I went through and, you know, watched a bunch of videos and read, you know, some articles about the game to kind of figure out some shitty things to make him do over the course of the game, and that's gonna be a lot of fun. I found this article from Canada, I think, .au, isn't that, or not Canada, from Australia, I think, .au, it's Australian, right? Other Aussie stories, yeah, so Canada. but how the Alien and Alien Isolation works. So I read through this to find some ways that the Alien catches people, to come up with stuff to throw on the BitBot to make Guano do. So like getting out of a locker, turning on a flashlight, because apparently it just finds you. So like if he's walking around with a flashlight, it's gonna get him. Shooting a gun, might take that off because I don't know how many bullets you get. Anyway, yeah, so it's good. So yeah, got all the sound bites, the things to do. The next thing, we needed to convey this information to people. First things first, we needed to set up a menu. So I made a nice little menu saying, all the sounds and stuff, and then all the actions. And then it was kind of tricky. I honestly think it's a little wordy. We got to figure out a way to kind of concisely sort of let people know what's going on. So hopefully, it's got a bit of an explanation in the menu, which is going to chill among his panels and stuff underneath the stream. Does this look bad? Like, I haven't messed with colors yet, but that's a lot, right? That's just a small thing. I don't know, I'm gonna start making the boxes now. I'll list out all the sounds, make the boxes. Here we go. Alright, so here's the menu as it stands. Still feels a bit busy to me, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So here's my 8 different kinds of sounds, which I'm gonna have to go through and rename all the sounds on my soundboard. I'm gonna rename those to match, and then here's the 4 things to do. I'm gonna go ahead and export it to see how it looks. We'll be off to the races. And here is the finished mock-up. Pretty cool, huh? And I added a little alien, low opacity under everything. Can't even hardly see it. You're looking at it like that, but pretty excited. We're probably gonna put together a command that kind of briefly explains what's going on. That's gonna probably run on a timer, so every so often that'll pop up.
Today on What the F is Going On, we are doing Streamlabs for Alien Isolation today. We set up a timer so that every now and then, I'm gonna say 15 minutes. Hey, 15 minutes sound good? 15. Or too often?
Maybe like 30?
Copy 30. 30, it's 30, but somebody's gonna have to have chatted. Five lines of chat will have to have happened in 5-minute interval at some point. So if it dies completely, you might have to jump in here and like turn it down or something. I don't know. I can just make it a command that you can use just in case. Called alien how to, yeah? So now we've added a command. So there we got the rule I just made, or the command I just made, so that he can use that if this timer that I just made doesn't work. The timer is set up for 30-minute intervals. Going to drop this message on how to do the alien thing as long as 5 people have chatted within the last 30 minutes. We turned on our channel points, which is over here in your creator dashboard on Twitch. You go to community channel points, bam, list of points. I already had these commands set. They were just disabled. There we go. They were disabled until now. Turned them all on, so they'll show up today, and then turn big face off. Sorry guys, no room for big face today. But yeah, that's that. Let's hope everything goes off without a hitch.
Biggest thing we did today is we're stress testing. You may notice the monitor behind me looks kind of weird. It's got the nice little multi-view there. That's from the ATEM, because we went ahead and moved the ATEM in here because we wanted to stress test the Ethernet HDMI cable combination thing for a full stream today to make sure that we can rely on it, because that's how it's gonna have to make it to his computer. So I've got, actually, yes, over here, I've got the ATEM set up here, nice bright lights and everything, and then that's running to this monitor, which I'll be able to use to check everything and know, this will be his gameplay. This will probably be, or this will be the Blackmagic, so this will be the room cam, and one of these will be my camera, so I can kind of see everything that's going on. I can check audio levels, when's a cool time to check over here. If I've cut to this Blackmagic bit or to the room view, we can still, I can still keep an eye on his computer screen, so if anything crazy happens, I can cut back real quick. Just at 5.5 hours into it and haven't had a single problem. No blinking, no audio going in and out, nothing like that. He's got his monitor also set up still. Now that I've talked about it, I'm gonna switch it back to the program so he can see himself. Which I can do with the press of a button. Boop. let's see, things left to do. Like I said, we got 3 days. Tomorrow, the biggest thing we've got to do probably is, while I have the ATEM in here, I need to go ahead and set up the picture-in-picture, because the ATEM has a built-in picture-in-picture. It's got actually buttons on the switcher, but that picture-in-picture is preset to be this tiny little rectangle in one of the four corners. There's a way to make it personalize the placement, the size, all that good stuff. But you have to do that manually through the software, and then you have to make a macro, which then once it's a macro is made, I can put it on the Stream Deck. I need to set up those macros so I can easily pop in and then pop back out. Okay, so we're setting up the camera for the picture-in-picture, rather, for the alien thing. So we've got our little setup. That's what the thing's gonna look like. That's where his camera's gonna go. Wait, what? Yep. And then it's me up there. We set all our parameters, and then I've written them down in the trusty notebook. And then thanks to this fellow, what's this guy's name? Alex Petit with 4 T's. Does he have 4 T's in his last name? Doesn't matter. He's good at switcher stuff. So here's a video. I'll throw it down there. But based on his instructions, I'm gonna make a macro, and then we'll test it. And Stream Deck. Launch GUI. Shit. How do I do this? Yeah, and I think that's everything. Then we just got to set it all up. Again, we already know how the setup's going to be, so it's probably going to take a little less time to actually set up, for the real thing. It starts on Friday with, I think I've already said, should be a 3-day event. I'm going to say I'm mighty confident this is going to go well. I think we're going to scare the hell out of him. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it.
What's happening, dude? No! I'm in a hell loop.
All right, so day after. What do we have? Closing thoughts, right? It was a success.
Yeah, I had a good time.
First and foremost, yeah.
All the way up until like the end, really. The end was hard.
It's interesting because the 2 points of views had much different experiences. I feel like how your weekend went drastically different from how my weekend went.
Yeah. The game was really neat. I love all the alien movies, so like the aesthetic of the game was really cool, but like I didn't like being scared. It was a lot scarier than I thought it would be. Well, okay, I thought it would be scary going into it, but like I didn't realize how it would be scary, and it was bad. And then on top of that, all the noises and stuff, and like all my preconceived notions about the lights not really affecting me, and the sounds being able to easily differentiate between what was happening in the game and what was happening on the sound system. But pretty much everything just wasn't in my favor.
Yeah.
It all worked perfectly because it sounded just like it should.
And people seemed to dig it. Going into it, I was super worried about the fact that we had you cut off from chat.
And people get upset about that, yeah.
But I feel like people really took to the format.
It was like a zoo.
Yeah, like we were all getting together, and like they loved that wide angle of seeing you in the room, which I think really sent home that kind of feeling of it, that we're all like observing you.
Yeah.
I feel like once they really got into like what was going on and how like the bits and stuff were working, because like not having a bit bot was also worrying for me.
It seems like it worked out nice.
People started getting real creative like immediately, and I think there was something to like the first handful of people would be like, well, how much do I got to pay for somebody to like run in there on there?
Don't want any pop.
No! Ah!
Jesus.
And as soon as they like saw that, we immediately was like, yeah, we could pull that off. Like, what should we yell at him? And like people started working together to like come up with new interesting ways to do stuff.
Yeah.
Which was fun.
I think everybody really enjoyed that, having like a team of people at their disposal to try and come up with ways to scare me.
Yeah.
One of you go outside and bang on the window. While that was happening, the other one would throw a can at him.
And like there was somewhat of a viewing party element to it as well with all the people in the chat. Like we were all like hanging out on the couch watching, and like we'd talk about like ideas like that, or when things were coming up in the game, like somebody who played the game would be like, oh, this stuff's about to happen. And like we'd know that, but you didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a really cool aspect of it too, I didn't think about.
And like, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Kept my playthrough real blind, which is usually hard to do because everybody wants to help.
Yeah, and like people still had that kind of inclination or whatever, but it became like dramatic irony.
It
Like,
never came to me. It never got to me.
that was a lot of fun. I do think a lot of people are gonna be happy to see you return to the normal,
Yeah, I don't play survival horror very well.
Yeah, and
It's
like
not
I
my
know
flavor.
people wanna reach out and say hi, stuff like that. But the event worked. Real solid proof of concept.
Yeah, just like, what do we do next?
Yeah, it's a big question.
How do you top that?
But yeah, no, it was great. We're happy with it. I'm happy with it.
I was real nervous about doing it, so I'm glad it's over. I mean, I'm not glad it's over. I had a lot of fun, but like, I'm glad I was able to do it and not like cop out early or something, you know?
Yeah.
And be like, oh, I can't beat this level. It's too hard.
Hopefully this was informative as well, especially if anybody who like showed up. Definitely big shout out to anybody who stopped by and helped.
Yeah.
It was a legit, like, we couldn't have done it ourselves thing. Like, it was, the community made it happen, which was also super neat.
Community literally made it happen with the community goal.
Before this video comes out, there'll be a nice long highlight video or something for the weekend. If you missed it, you can check it out. We'll, like, if at all possible, I've linked it just now. Oh yeah, but like,
Don't miss a stream today.
yeah, watch the stream. Linked in the bottom. I don't know what I said earlier. This video is like 2 weeks in the making. You know, like, subscribe. There's a bell business you can do.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling, so you don't miss anything. Thanks.
My face is so wide.
Ooh, that's rough too, because this lens should make your face fairly skinny.
It makes it really... I mean, my face is just wide. I think that's what's wrong with me.
You got a wide face?
Yeah, I always look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, why are you gross looking?
Because you got a fat face.
It's just really wide. I look like a Neanderthal.
You're like a